What is your biggest dream? To develop a video game to launch a massive success? For the game to fall off overnight and nobody'd ever mention it again? Not that last part? Well, too bad, because today I'm going to show you how to lose an entire fanbase in seconds, just like some of the legends before us. But of course, if you want to be a loser like some of these other people, I can show you how to make a good game. Ugh. First off, to make an epic game that will blow up and fizzle out like a 3-year-old firework, you need to make the game initially really interesting, following an already really well-established gaming genre or franchise that will absolutely be beloved by all players. And you need to make the gameplay transformative and interesting. Maybe you can even experiment with making people get emotionally attached to an NPC and then kill them off halfway through the storyline, which is where you get the first massive step in killing your game. You leave it right there, game unfinished, and then release the rest of the game later on in the same copy, but make them pay for it again. Paywalling. That's the best way to kill your game. Think about it, there's so much stuff you can paywall, like cosmetics or the most OP characters in your game. Let's be honest, all AAA games have microtransactions of some sort, and why not get that easy money grab from people who are too sweaty that they can't help but get the characters that are basically cheats? When have you ever played a game and didn't think, oh, that character is too strong, I don't want to play them? You've never thought that. And that's why you need to take advantage of that by making the character pay to play. People are just going to eat that up. Who cares if the character is $5 or $50? If it's stronger, it's better. The greatest example of this is Star Wars Battlefront 2, combining all the features of having a pre-existing franchise and a game genre that people love. They added many new characters into the game and made them obnoxiously expensive and difficult to unlock while trying to play normally, but made them easily accessible through paying real money to unlock them. They also paywalled many maps behind paid DLC, making it impossible to experience the full game without spending excessive amounts of money with the original copy of the game. Combining all of these tactics, this company went down in history, and their greed is nearly unmatched in the industry. Follow these tips and sprinkle in some of the next steps to make a truly unimaginably forgettable game. The next step into making a game truly painful to experience is making the game highly uninteresting, unmemorable, and repetitive in content, with a game that is practically the same mission over and over. The game itself needs to be epic as a premise, with loads of potential and have loads of people ready to play it based off of its idea or whatever genre or franchise it's based on, like Marvel's Avengers. This game was unimaginably uninteresting, even though it was piggybacking off the groundbreaking success of the movie and comic franchise it was based off of. Imagine being given a game that's promised the wacky and fantastical adventures of the comics and the hard-hitting suspense and character development of the movies, and you're given something akin to Captain Marvel showing up and being able to solo Thanos' army with a single movie and not having the strength and attitude that she came in with him recovering the Phantom. Sorry, I have a bone to pick when it comes with Captain Marvel. But anyway, that's what it felt like receiving the unfinished, unpolished final result of Marvel's Avengers. That disappointment was palpable. You could feel the anger and the rage of the fan base playing the game. It was so sweet. Now do it again. Make your own movie to video game disaster. Make it painful. Make it so painful that the people that supported it all the way seethe in anger and hatred and just want to tear you apart. Make the game based on something like A Quiet Place or Bird Box, something that removes a sense crucial to play this game. Making noise is deadly, or seeing the creature itself is deadly. Wait, someone's already done these? And they were successful? That's impossible. Those mechanics wouldn't be viable. How does a game without one of the person's core senses do better than a game that was made by the company that made superhero movies a success? Their storytelling and FX would be too on point to fail. Whatever. I guess not everyone was meant to be a success. Except for that recent comeback in Marvel Rivals. Good job there. I bet whoever made that first one was promoted after making something so god-awful people had to buy it to see it for themselves. Oh wait, you can't play it anymore? Too bad, so sad. Game was ahead of its time anyway. Now that we learned how to make a game that sucks, why don't we turn it into a program that doesn't work? Something so bad you can't even call it a game. You try to move around, but your character model is shifting and turning in ways you didn't expect. Collision with objects crashes your game or even your PC. Basically, the one rule is making your characters look good in cutscenes while barely making the rest of it look. Let's look at Cyberpunk 2077. The game's launch was atrocious. The player count fell off faster than lemmings off of a cliff. And to get real with you, the fixes make the game a completely different game entirely. You were no longer fighting your computer and the code to play it. It became an actually playable game that I'm glad to say tens of thousands of people got to enjoy. Cyberpunk's revival would have been swept under the rug and forgotten if it weren't for Cyberpunk Edgerunners releasing. It was around the release of the show that people started actually taking note of the fact that the game was not as buggy as it used to be. For some of these games to be revived, or for them to have not fallen off in the first place, there's not a lot of stuff on the surface that needs to happen or needed to happen. For Star Wars Battlefront, all that they needed to do was fully release the game one time, not extra parts after the fact that cost extra money. That also goes for the newer Pokemon games like Pokemon Sword and Shield or Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They released the rest of the game and a bunch of new legendaries behind a paywall and new areas. People should have to pay for the game and the content in said game once. Skins are a different story, seeing as it's a major revenue source post-game launch and it's not locking people out of the experience of the game and its story. Battle passes and loot boxes are a little scummy in my opinion because now people have to pay for a chance at earning something if they dedicate time and money to maybe get this item that they bought it for, and they only have a limited time or limited chances to get it. The point stands, there are understandable ways to make money on games aside from making the game pay to win or locking the story behind the next paycheck. Marvel's Avengers could have been a better game had they just made missions more diverse and given less of that just, fight and leave. Other games are guilty of this one mission type as well, like Escape from Tarkov and Solo Leveling's new game, Solo Leveling Arise. All the missions are in Escape from Tarkov is kill the people in your way, grab mediocre loot, and escape. And with Solo Leveling Arise, it's go into the gate, beat up the monsters, and leave. Where I believe those games succeeded is that in Escape from Tarkov, when you die you lose all of your stuff, but you have the ability to insure your items, and you can get them back later. But for the time being, you have to try to get new stuff. You can even assemble your hideout, and you can do scav missions with a random loadout every time. In Solo Leveling, the gacha aspect doesn't help its popularity, but it allows a lot of free spins to get the hunters, and leveling up feels like an accomplishment, because you can look ahead to the new powers he unlocks in the graphic novels or watching the anime. There's also worldwide quests that you and the rest of the worldwide player base can collaborate on to complete. On top of all of that, the game warns you that you've been playing for a certain amount of time and tells you to hop off. The developers actually care. The game is free. You don't have to spend money at all to play it. It seems more like a passion project than a money grab for a popular IP. So now, I'm going to teach you how to actually make a game. I don't know how to code, but I can tell you the basic rules. The first one is a simple concept, and it's to finish the game before its release, or do a demo launch to test it out to make sure it's not a totally broken game and impossible to play. And another thing is, don't alienate your players by not responding to their feedback about what needs to be changed and what needs to be fixed. Pay attention to their wants so the players continue to play. Don't lock some aspects of your game behind a paywall. Finish the game, don't make the players pay more money to finish the story. Players bought the game already and shouldn't have to spend more money to get the full experience of what they bought. As stated before, skins are understandable microtransaction addition because the company needs to make money to be able to pay their employees for future development of future games. Give a diverse array of missions to complete, like hack and slash missions. Find the hidden item missions. Add a little bit of something random into it, sandbox or endless or multiplayer modes. Somewhere the player can spend as long as they want exploring or looting with their friends, or building what they want in their own little area with their friends. This would massively increase the replayability and the player retention. Imagine having a hack and slash game where you can build your own map and you have all of the time in the world to put the details into it. After finishing this map, you can now invite your friends over to said map and play all sorts of mini games around your world. There's only a couple games that match that description that I can name off the top of my head, and they are some of the most popular games to have ever released pretty much ever. Gmod Sandbox and the GOAT, Minecraft. Minecraft is being updated constantly and has very few bugs. The bugs that it does have, without mods, require you to attempt to do so and are largely ignored by the developers because the game is a sandbox. There are no missions for you to complete, and there's not a competitive edge to it. As for Gmod, these days the software needs to be fixed up or completely overhauled. The game is tough to play because of how difficult the servers are to get working. But for anyone able to get it working, the game is a top-tier sandbox game with almost limitless creativity options. There are plenty of maps made by the massive community of map makers and multiplayer game modes to play on these maps like Manhunt, Prop Hunt, Death Run, horror maps, PvP, racing, and just create your own things with others. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned how to make both a horrible, absolutely unplayable video game, as well as a video game that will be an absolute hit. Make your own developer dreams come true. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below telling us what types of videos you want to see in the future. I'm open to requests. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!